how to hold your guitar. Now with the guitar on your right leg, you want to sort of angle the head of the guitar up a bit higher, and that allows you to get your thumb, I'll show you, about here. Put it about there on the neck, and then you can get your fingers around the front of the guitar a lot easier. If you have the thumb up here, you probably see a lot of professionals like that. They're professionals, that's why they can do it. But what you want to do is have the thumb, for getting started, have it in the middle of the neck, and then go around the front. Now, when pressing down on the guitar, make sure to press right on the tip of your finger. Okay, so you press right on the tip. I'll give you a close-up of that. Okay, and it wants to be just behind the fret, not far back, but just behind the fret. And once you've got that, you can get a pretty good sound. If you play it far back, you might get buzzing, but press there, and it's easier to press down because this fret piece is what's changing the sound of the note. So have a go at that, and if your fingers get sore, just change fingers. We just want to try and get them toughened up as well on the tip. Another thing is, with this thumb placement, which I was talking about before, just think that this bottom part of the guitar is super hot and you're not allowed to put your palm on it. So you have to use your thumb like so and curve it around, and you get this sort of circle look, and that'll help you get right around the top, right around the front on the
Okay, today let's talk about tuning the guitar to itself. So what I mean by this is, let's say we don't have a tuner or a tuning fork or another instrument, a piano or another guitar or something like that to tune to. We still want to have the ability to tune our guitar to itself. Also, this is really helpful. Let's say you're on stage and you can hear that one specific note is out of tune, and instead of having to get your tuner, or if you don't have an online tuner or something like that, or an onboard tuner, then you can tune that really quickly by ear. So I'm going to show you that technique because it's a super valuable skill to have, especially as a guitar player. So I purposely have detuned some notes in here. My 6th string is in tune. You may not know of a specific string that is in tune when you're going to do this process, but you kind of want to use your best guess. In this case here, I know the 6th string is in tune, but I detuned the other ones. So what I want to do is I want to tune to the highest string from the lowest note. So first off here, I'm going to hit the low E, and I want to tune the A string. So in order to do that, I need to find an A on the E string. And since we know the names of the notes, this is a pretty easy thing to do here. So here's my low E. I'm going to go E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So technically, if I hit this A and the open A string, they should be the same note. They are, okay? So let's say they're not. So here's E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. Here we go. So that note, we can hear the second note is lower, so we need to raise it in pitch, right? We need to make it sharper. So I'm going to hit the 5th string again, or the 5th fret of the 6th string. That's my reference note, and then I'm going to hit the open A. And now I just tuned the A string up to our reference note, which we know is correct, which is the 5th fret of the E string. Okay. Now, as you've seen in some of my other videos, I'll stretch the strings a little bit, so I'm stretching the A string, and I'm going to try it again. flattened it a little bit. Good technique to use for staying in tune, okay? So always stretch your strings a little bit. Okay, so now we know that the 6th and 5th string are in tune, at least with each other. So let's continue this process. So E and A are tuned. Now the D string needs to be tuned. So what we need to do is we need to find a D on the A string, since we know that that one's in tune and it's next to it. So we have A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. So technically this D and the open D should be the same, but they're not. We can hear that the D string is actually sharp. So I want to flatten it. Make sure you're always getting the right string over here, the right tuning peg. Now, I took the note and I tuned it straight to the D, which you've seen in some of my other videos. I'll say don't do that because it'll be out of tune. So usually you want to go underneath the note and then bring it back up to pitch, because that stretching keeps the guitar in better tune. So I just stretched it now with my finger to pull it out of tune, and it's okay. Many times it's not, so make sure you do that every time. Okay, so now E, A, and D are in tune. Next string that I need to tune is the G, and so I need to find a G on the D string. E, A, and D are tuned. So here we go. Starting on the D, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G. So I'm going to hit this G and the open G. And I can hear that high, that second note is higher. So I'm going to get it relative, meaning I'm just going to get the basic idea. I'm going to stretch it out. And remember, tune underneath the note. So we're going to tune that note underneath that reference note, below it, if you will, and then we're going to tune it back up. Especially after I've stretched it. It's going to sound a lot better, okay? So now E, A, D, and G are in tune, so now we need to tune the B string. So I find a B on the G string. There's G, G sharp, A sharp, B. So this one's a little bit different in that it's at the 4th fret. So let's pick that. So sounds out a little bit. The second one's a little bit flat, okay? So you can do what I just did with the left hand, or you can do the right hand. Always stretch that string out, so I'm going to stretch the B a little bit. You can hear it pulled it out of pitch a little bit. Okay, so there we go. Sounds great. So now E, A, D, G, and B are in tune. We need to tune the high E. So on the B, we're going to go B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. And this E and the high E should be in tune, but they're not. That high E is flat, so we need to raise it. You can hear that kind of warble in there, and as that slows down, you're getting closer to the note. So, and when it stops completely, you're in tune. So I'm stretching the high E string just in case. And now it sounds good, even after I stretched it. So now I should be able to play some chords. So D, C, and a G. Now sometimes what I'll do is after I tune, and I play a chord, I might hear a note still out a little bit, because this is not a perfect science. We're trying to get things as close as possible. And sometimes if your guitar is slightly intonated differently than another, or incorrectly, if you will, then one chord may be in tune and another one may not be in tune, so that you have to compensate for one specific note. If everything sounds perfect here and then you go to another chord and one note's really, really out, then what we do is we compensate to where both chords are out just a little bit, instead of when you hit that one chord it sounds really bad but the other chord sounds good. Okay, so you'll get the hang of this. Tuning is a skill, it takes time, and we're learning new stuff about it every day. So practice this technique a lot, and you will be playing in better tune.